Hello, welcome to the next video from Tangley Tours. Today's taking a slightly different format. I've come down here this afternoon to the baths where I'm going to be talking to Sean and Bernie Whittle, who work here with the Hospitality. So my first question is, can you tell us a little bit about the Hospitality and what it means to you?
Well, the Hospitality is, it began as a lay association in the very early days of Lourdes. People saw that the sick people were arriving at the station, and that's a couple of miles away, and how do you get down to the grotto? And so people thought we need to help, and so a group of people turned up to be volunteers. And over the years, it's grown and grown, and it's now a kind of international kind of association. And from the beginning of the season of Lourdes to October, volunteers will come and spend a week or 2 weeks in service, and do what we can to help with the smooth running of things in Lourdes.
Okay.
I think for me as well, it's the fact that you feel part of a community of Lourdes. So when you're part of a pilgrimage, you sort of come for a few days and then you leave, but being part of the Hospitality, you feel part of that wider community of people who, for one reason or another, have a love of Lourdes and come back year on year. And so being a member of the Hospitality is part of that wider community of Lourdes, if you like.
Very good. Can you tell us how and why you got involved?
Well, we've been very lucky to come to Lourdes when we were younger. So I was quite ill as a child, and then when I got old enough to come as a helper, I was very aware of Lourdes. And Bernie is named after St Bernadette, so there's always been a Lourdes connection with her family. And we both volunteered to go with our diocese of Arundel and Brighton as helpers, and so that's how we started coming to Lourdes.
Yeah, so then having come to Lourdes as sort of young helpers when we were at school in the sixth form, we then moved on in our lives and moved to London and became part of Westminster Diocese. And so we started bringing a group of students on the Westminster Diocesan pilgrimage. So over the years we sort of developed a pattern of, we came with Westminster Diocese and a group of students, and then just by luck each year the Arundel and Brighton Diocese started their pilgrimage as Westminster finished. So we got very used to our 2 weeks in Lourdes. And then back in, I think it was about 2003, both Westminster and Arundel and Brighton were on at the same time. So we only were able to do 1 week. And for us then, we'd got so used to coming to Lourdes for 2 weeks, we wanted to stay for that extra week. So we'd always thought about joining Hospitality, so we thought now's a good opportunity to do it, so that we have our second week in Lourdes. So that's what sort of spurred us on to join at that stage.
Lovely. And so what would you normally do in a day? What's the duties of somebody who works for the Hospitality?
Well, there are different services that are part of the Hospitality. So I'm part of St Joseph's Surfers, and we're meant to be St Joseph the worker, although we don't always work that hard. So there are things like welcoming people to, like the International Mass this morning. So we welcome the sick people and make sure the voitures and wheelchairs are parked in the right place, and that we help with the distribution of Holy Communion. And then we help with the at the grotto to kind of like keep it hopefully prayerful by telling people to be quiet, and then we work with the processions in the evening, and we'll welcome people at the station and help people when they're leaving, and also we'll help here at the baths. But Bernie's really the kind of queen of the baths.
What's the day at the baths look like?
So day at the baths can be very busy, but it's very set. There's a very set pattern to the day. So we have 2 shifts. We have a morning and afternoon shift. The morning shift we arrive at 8:30, and we spend some time getting ready, and that includes all of the helpers saying the rosary together in the morning before we start service. And then the baths open around 9 o'clock, and we work from about 9 until about 11:30. Then it's the same in the afternoon. We arrive at 1:30. We have our time of prayer. The baths open at 2, and again we work till about 4:30. The gates shut at 11 and shut at 4, but it very much depends on how many people have come through the gates by that time to say what time we finish. Obviously at the moment the baths are very different because of the COVID situation, but still there's a steady flow of people.
So before you were helping people in and out of the
Yeah,
water?
so before COVID anybody who wanted to come into the baths could come into the baths, no matter what their disabilities were. So if people could walk in, they can come in and walk in. If they needed help because they came in a wheelchair, but even so far as people who can't walk, we can put, there's a particular way of actually putting people in the baths on a stretcher. So whatever abilities or disabilities the people have, they can come and have a bath.
But at the moment, they're still able to experience.
So at the moment though, it's called the gesture of water, so no one's allowed in the actual bath themselves, but they have water poured on their hands, and they wash their hands, and they wash their face, and they drink, because Our Lady asked Bernadette to come and wash at the spring and to drink the water. So the gesture of water is exactly what Bernadette was asked to do by Our Lady.